it's Brock here from Rock Hill Farms, and I'm out here early this morning, excited about a new project we're gonna get done today. I did a couple videos a few months back digging this trench. It's 170 feet long, runs from our septic tank up to our workshop, and today that project is finally gonna get finished. So I've got the backhoe put on the tractor. We've got a couple more sections to dig out. One, finishing the drain line at the top, then also digging our water line. We're gonna install a freeze-proof faucet next to the swimming pool, and we're gonna install a freeze-proof faucet next to where we burn between the shop and the equipment shed. So anyway, let's get started. So I'm almost always a do-it-yourself guy, but I got this trench dug and decided I wanted to have an actual plumber come and help me finish the job. So I've put this clean out right here in, and that's where we'll be tying into the water lines and the existing drain lines from the house and connecting all that to the new bathroom we're installing at the top of the hill. Now you're seeing the other end of that same trench. I stopped digging at the area that we drive across every day. Then here's where it connects to the building. When the concrete was poured, I had pipe put into the concrete for us to attach to. I'm also putting a freeze-proof faucet up here and another clean out here next to that faucet. One reason I decided to have professional help is connecting to the existing pipe at the other end. The other reason I decided I wanted that help is that this is an uneven angle or an unusual angle and pretty steep. So I wanted to make sure it was graded properly. The guys I hired to help me with this have a ton of experience and definitely know what they're doing. It's also neat that they brought some of their own equipment that I can check out and compare a little bit to my own tractor. Alright, so they're over there digging with my tractor because it's got the backhoe on it, but he brought his Kubota L2501. I haven't really looked at these much, but it's a little bit larger tractor than mine. Definitely got bigger wheels and tires on it, but I think it's a 25 horsepower tractor. So I think this would be comparable to like a 3025E. If you know more about that than me, tell me in the comments what a comparable John Deere to this is, because I basically understand the differences between the different models in the John Deere lineup, but I don't really know on the Kubotas. Anyway, they're going to use this to help spread the rock in the hole after they're done digging and laying the pipe in. He was definitely a brave operator to straddle that ditch the way he was, and the amount of clearance between the front tire and actually falling in the hole, especially on a piece of equipment that he'd never operated before. But they acted like it was no big deal, so I guess if they're not worried, then I'm not worried. Now they've started installing the plumbing. They started with what I put through the concrete when we were laying the concrete. I also put a larger diameter sweep in for us to simply poke the PEX through. So they've got that PEX through. They've got the first stretch of the drain pipe in, and they've got the freeze-proof faucet set in place. There's a large diameter piece of rebar next to the freeze-proof that they are getting ready to push further into the ground, and those two are taped together to help keep from breaking that freeze-proof faucet down at the base at any point. So the first thing going in the hole is the PEX line, then they're putting fill on top of that, and then the drain line is going on the fill. I kept wanting to jump in and help, but as much as I hate to watch somebody else work and want to get involved, you also have to recognize when you've hired a professional and the difference between helping and being in the way. So I helped quite a bit, but I also tried to stay out of the way quite a bit. So the gentleman on the Kubota is the former county commissioner for this area, and he's retired now, but he has a ton of experience operating heavy machinery and doing all of this type of work. And then the guy working in the hole is his son, who has over 20 years of experience with working for the water department at the local city. Luckily, out here where we live, there's no code we have to follow, there's no permits that have to be done, and I don't really care about how it is quote-unquote supposed to be done. I just want it to work. What you're seeing here is the drain line is already laid across our normal driving area, and they're covering back over that so that they can get my tractor out from straddling that ditch. Unlike a lot of larger equipment, with this ditch being fairly wide and about 5 foot deep, it's a little bit more difficult to just drive the equipment off of it. Now, if we really needed the tractor out, we could have done so without filling this in. That was just kind of an easy way to do it. So for this section right here, it is a frequently traveled area, and it's not just car traffic, but I have large delivery trucks and freight pickups and all type of traffic through here. So there's no dirt or large rocks put back in this hole. It's all filled with clean rock, and the pipe was laid about 4 foot deep right here to try to protect it. And it's schedule 40, which to my knowledge has a higher crush rate. But they've went to get lunch. I'm real happy with the progress that's been made so far. We've got the line buried for about 3/4 of the run. We have one freeze-proof faucet here. I didn't get my pipe coming out of the concrete. I didn't get low enough, so we're gonna mound up, 2 foot of dirt on top of that right there. But we've got a clean out here, a freeze-proof faucet here. Then I've got a heavy-duty splitter right here, and then I've got a long hose and a short hose. The short hose I'm gonna use if I ever need to clean out this drain. Then the long hose I'm gonna use to set the power equipment right here on this rock bed and power wash. So they're almost done running this line. Right about where the tractor is, we're gonna tee off and put in another freeze-proof faucet down by the swimming pool. Let's go down there and take a look. Okay. Stopped right here to mention this pole that we ran just a few feet from. The city has, or the electric company has, a work order out to replace this pole. It's pretty rotten at the top, and I'm gonna have them set it a few feet further that way, away from our line. Come on down this way. You can see behind me is the swimming pool. This is where they are at on the drain line. Then they're gonna tee off the water supply right here, run another freeze-proof faucet right there next to the pool, and then also our personal garden is gonna be right next to the pool as well. and then we're gonna have a pumpkin patch a little further down, and I wanna have water access to fill the pool, help with the garden, and with the pumpkin patch. So all that's left now, another 20 foot of drain line, and then digging that extra trench to put that water line in. You can see that first section where I started the video is all filled back in now. We've lifted out my access point, and he's digging on either side of the existing septic line so that he can get tied into it. This is pretty delicate work, really, to use a backhoe for, but he did it like a champ and never hit anything. This is the most difficult part of this specific job, and probably most jobs of this type, is where you're tying into the existing plumbing. There were a couple different types of plumbing down here. For some reason there was a blob of concrete poured on top of it, and it's just tight getting that last joint together. And to make matters worse, I also wanted an extra clean out added right here. But they made it look easy, and I'm really happy with the way it came out. Once they got that all spliced together, they started using the Kubota to fill in the remaining hole, and then using my tractor to dig this other line to run the water supply over to the swimming pool. At this point, I was about 30 minutes from my son's high school baseball game starting, so I was letting them know that I was going to be leaving, and when I come back here shortly, everything was done and looked good. Alright, well, I don't know if you're really going to be able to see me very well. It's getting dark out here, but I left before the work was done. My son had a high school baseball game and I wanted to be there, but all this ditch is filled in except one little spot where I have to repair the electrical line running out for the pool filter. We've got freeze-proof faucets at both ends, which is awesome. I've got the garden and the swimming pool up here that we'll have easy access to water for. We've got our burn area out here, and I'm going to set up a specific place to power wash our equipment off of the other freeze-proof faucet. So all I've got to do now is install the fixtures in the bathroom in the shop. So I appreciate you taking time to watch this video. In just a minute you'll see links on the screen to a couple more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.